Alright fellas, we're back for episode number 7 of the career. This time we are at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. As you can see, we have some weather for this sprint weekend. Obviously Miami was the first one, went pretty well for us. Hopefully we can replicate that today in this one. Looking at some of the upgrades that have came in, a couple of failures as usual. There's the weather there, wet sprint and wet quali, so should be very interesting. I'm not the greatest in the wet, so this could be a big reality check for us, as we actually have a rival now, Oscar Piastri, so he'll probably be beating us. He should probably beat us. Obviously he's in a McLaren, and we get a bit of an accolade there for 50 points. So as you can see, swapping out some engine components, and once again for the third time this season got a special lid. We're going with the Roscoe lid for this one.
It might not be race day yet, but you wouldn't know it from looking at the stands. The fans are out in force. It's practice time here at Silverstone.
Alright, as usual, starting off the weekend with practice, doing a solid job at getting all 3 of the programs done. That'll give us some handy R&D points. So tyre wear was probably the only one that I kind of struggled with there, you can see. But yeah, and then we're straight into quali. Our first run did a 29.1, and now we go out. It actually put us P20, so now we went out again. You can see here up by about nearly 4 tenths, 3.5 tenths, and then we lose a heap of time, but we actually end up gaining it back. Alright, that's fair. Just over 4 tenths gained. Is it enough to get into SQ2? Yes, it is. Finish up P13. So let's have a look. Behrman, Lindblad, Sainz, Perez, Bottas, and Bortoletto out. Charles Leclerc very, very close to being eliminated in SQ1. Luckily for him, he makes it through. As now we move on to SQ2, doing our first run here, as we give the Red Bull a nice little tow. So solid lap, wasn't perfect. I don't feel that quick around here, so yeah, we'll see. As we run up to the line, we end up doing a 1:28.7, 2 tenths off Russell. Not that bad, to be honest, not that bad. But as the session goes on, you'll see we're bumped down to P15. Russell also down here with us in P14, which is quite a big surprise, as we were up by about 2.5 tenths and lost it all pretty much going into the final few corners. And we're only going to end up improving by just over a tenth, so we are knocked out in SQ2. It's only P15.
Well, the weather is not looking good today. We are expecting the downpours to continue into today's sprint. This will make for some tricky conditions for all the teams. It wouldn't be Britain without some rain. Silverstone is a 3.6 mile long test with a total of 18 corners. The Wellington and Hangar straights are great overtaking opportunities to tuck into the slipstream and then make your pass. Look out for Cops Corner, which is no joke in the wet. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Norris, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, and Antonelli, Hadjar, Gasly, Albon, and Fernando Alonso, Lawson, Stroll, Esteban Ocon, and Russell, O'Reilly, Hulkenberg, Ollie Behrman, and Arvid Lindblad, Sainz, Perez, Bottas, and Gabriel Bortoletto completes the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me is Anthony Davidson. So, a sprint race today, and that means lights to flag, no stops. And how is that going to affect the driver behind the wheel?
Absolutely. So for today, there's no pit stop, or shouldn't be a pit stop anyway, if things go right, and you can forget about strategy. You're just driving today as fast as you can, make those overtakes if you need to, and that's what it's...
So we've got Leclerc going from P16 to sprint pole. So what a turnaround for him. Thankfully he made it through, so we're lining up here on the grid, obviously no pit stops, and I've actually decided that for the first little bit I was going to turn my traction control down, and yeah, I am so crap at the game, so that only lasted like 2 laps, which is brilliant. As you can see, I feel like I was too worried about trying not to spin instead of actually like driving the track. So we've got a pretty horrendous start then, all over the joint going wide, as we're going to try and sneak up the inside of Behrman, and I'm already slow enough in the wet anyway, so as we pretty much go 3 wide as we're literally all over the joint. So maybe it wasn't the smartest idea, but yeah, we dropped to P17. We got Behrman up the inside. We're going to squeeze back past him, and we're going to try and hopefully stay with Lindblad, as we're already... Yeah, no, we're cooked. We are cooked. You can see already dropping off the back of Lindblad by like a second in about 2 corners. So it's going to be a mission. This is going to be a really, really painful sprint race as we go wide at Cops. All over the curb. And that's going to allow Behrman, and it looks like Sainz as well, to go and have a look. Do we make it some Beckett's? As now we come out onto the straight, and again still all over the joint. Really, really ugly scenes. I think it's only a matter of time until Behrman gets through at least. Absolutely painful this will be, but it's alright, we've got to just keep going. You never know, there could be a crash, as again all over the joint. Just terrible, terrible scenes as we move on to lap 3 now, and we see Sainz has actually gotten past Ollie Behrman as we're going to go 2 wide through Cops. Tell that to Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen as we let him go through, and we nearly run at the back of him. We're going to try and send it, and again he keeps the position. So Sainz is through, and I think that'll be it. I can't see us catching him. It is going to be a really painful... What's that, 7 laps to go, or 6 pretty much. So yeah, again, we could well finish last year. I think it's only a matter of time until Behrman flies past, and then Perez, and I think Bottas is back here as well. So it's going to be quite painful, like I keep saying, because it really was. It's absolutely terrible. As we move on to lap 7, somehow we've kept these guys behind for that long. I'm not sure how we've done it, but here we go. Behrman up the inside. We're going to keep the place. Solid defending from us. Look at that little train. We are cooked. We are so bad in the wet. If this is like anything to go by for quali, then it is going to be horrendous as we cross the line to start the final lap of this sprint race. Usually the AI on the last lap get a bit quicker, so I'm expecting us to lose a couple of positions here, as Behrman again is going to have a look around the outside. Is he going to get it going into Cops? Let's have a look. No, he's going to stay behind. Try and do the switchback. Is that Perez? Yeah, Perez flies past Behrman, and so does Bottas, so that is unreal. Behrman getting a bad exit, and the 2 Cadillacs strolling through, as now we see Lewis Hamilton come across the line to win the sprint race. Good work from him. Ferrari on a roll.
5 seconds.
As now, can we see Perez have a crack around the outside? He's going to go for it, is he? He is. He is. We kind of squeeze him down the curb as we go down to the final few corners. Look at that. Look at that train. Behrman down to P20, as we actually had some really badly overheating tyres. So, yeah, somehow we keep those guys behind, but it's P18. It's definitely nothing to be, happy about. It's a real big reality check, and like I said, if it's anything, to go by for quali, then yeah, we could be in the mud. Sad for Gasly there. Unfortunately, he actually looks pretty decent this weekend, so unfortunately he just misses out on points. And yeah, that's the grid. Not really much to say. Russell P10. As we look at now the driver's standings, we see Norris still out ahead by 30 points now. Leclerc third, very close to Russell. And then you got Verstappen, and then Hamilton, Piastri, and myself, all quite close together. So, yep. And the constructors as well, McLaren with a slim 7-point lead now. And then a little bit further back, you got Ferrari, and then Red Bull, and then us. It's kind of a fight at the top, and then there's a pretty solid gap to everyone else. So, yeah, interesting to see how that plays out during the season, as now we can turn our focus to quali.
A one-time airfield fully owned by cars in this era. One of the finest ribbons of racetrack anywhere on Earth. It's high speed, it's dramatic, it's Silverstone.
Yep, so here we are in quali. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be painful, Inter's conditions, and for this quali I just decided to do one lap, and then I came back in the pits to get some more fuel, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do a few laps in a row. So it's the end of the second lap that I did. We're up by about a second and a bit here, solid lap, and hopefully we can just keep improving. So that one puts us in P8, splits the Ferraris, as now we come to the end of the second lap, as we're up by about 2/10 here, going through the final few corners. We lose a bit of time, gain it back a little bit, we end up actually gaining a bit more back. So we improve by 2/10, puts us P6, ahead of Verstappen. Behrman all the way up here as well. Good stuff from him. As again, our final lap I think it was, as we're up by about 2.5 but you see we lose a lot of time, and we're only going to end up improving by about 1.5, so it puts us P5. Let's see, is it enough to get us into Q2? As we see Antonelli with a pretty sizable gap there. It's going to have to be P15 or 16. It's not looking good, and we're out. Only just. Perez literally makes it by the skin of his teeth. This is ridiculous. P17, wow. That's quite disappointing. As we see Gasly for some reason has lost all that pace. He's P19. So not a great weekend for the team. Hopefully we can move forward in the race. Dry conditions definitely better suited to me. So yeah, let's get after it.
We meet again at Silverstone for one of the great Formula One races of the entire calendar. With a barely believable capacity crowd creating a phenomenal atmosphere, it is time for a race that puts a smile on your face. It is time for the British Grand Prix. Straddling the Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire border. That is actually true, right down the middle. 18 corners, 3.6 miles, but the turn numbers of turn 3 and turn 11 don't do justice. Wonderful names: Maggots, Beckett's, Village, Abbey, Woodcote. Memories everywhere you look. The F1 layout now comes equipped with the famous Silverstone wing. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Russell, Oscar Piastri, and Antonelli, Verstappen, Sainz, Hadjar, and Alex Albon, Alonso, Bottas, Sergio Perez, and Lawson, Behrman, O'Reilly, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Pierre Gasly, Lindblad, Ocon, Stroll, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me is Anthony Davidson. Well, it's an excellent sprint yesterday, but we're back to the usual format now. How do they continue what they started?
Absolutely. You know, they're at one with their car. You could see that in the sprint. That's why they were successful there. And you've got to carry that through into this race today. And in a way, we've had a snapshot as well of what this drive...
We're not in the best position to get another points finish, so try and use the first lap to your advantage and make up places.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, that's exactly right. And we're going to start on the softs, go to the hards, and finish on the mediums. That's a strat. Hopefully the soft can help us make up some places on the start. Most people around us also following my lead, I suppose you could say. Starting on the softs, you see Lawson ahead on the mediums. So hopefully we can get him on the start then. As the lights now are on. The 5 red lights, we've been held for an eternity once again, a common theme this season as we have a pretty solid start. Oh my days, we nearly go right at the back of Lawson again, twice, as we see one of the Aston Martins there, it's Alonso, and also Bottas, and Perez, the 2 Cadillacs are up here as well, wow. As we try and look around the outside of Perez, try and get him on these fresh softs, he's going to hold the position. But now, hopefully opening up the wings, and we're going to get him pretty comfortably here. As we see some battling up ahead, the 2 Williams going at it. And now we join the back of this little train. Hopefully we can pull away from Perez and Bottas. So a pretty frantic start here. Nearly crashes everywhere and some pretty solid battles. So yeah, let's move on then to lap number 3. As now we're riding on board, or not really on board, but we're focusing on Hadjar. As we see Antonelli, Verstappen and Albon all having a massive scrap here. And then again, just up ahead, if you just caught that, you got the 2 Ferraris and the 2 McLarens. So we see here Hadjar going to go for it on the outside of Russell. And you see up ahead, Piastri and Leclerc going side by side through cops, unreal scenes. And they continue this right up to Maggots and Beckett's. So unreal from the AI, as now we come to the end of the lap and we are still behind. We have created a gap there to the Cadillacs and Liam Lawson, as a little bit of a tangle up here, as now we cross the line to start lap 4 then, as we see Sainz going at Albon. Hopefully we can line up a move here as we now enter the braking zone. We're just going to send it and go up the back of Albon. Somehow we don't get damage, thankfully. And yeah, we just absolutely sent one on Sainz. We're up into P10 in the points. This is a very good start. Obviously, P17 to P10 in like 3 or 4 laps is very solid. As now, me and Sainz are going to go side by side through cops. Unreal scenes. Obviously not for the first time. And yeah, very, very good battle here we're having. Unfortunately though, this battling has meant that Alex Albon has literally just driven away. So we're going to have to hope that we can work together with Sainz to catch back up to that train. So yeah, obviously we're going to be coming in at the end of the lap. It's gone pretty quickly actually, this race so far. So hopefully we can get Sainz before we pit. As now battery management honestly hasn't been great, but it's been just good enough as we're going to pretty much send it up the inside. That's a great move, as you can see. Complete the objective as well, as we raise the arm, a little bit of contact. And Sainz gets back through. So we're going to let him go here. Switch our battery back down. And this is going to be a painful run to Maggots and Beckett's as we go a little bit wide up on the curb, as he is unfortunately going to get away, as we now head into the pit lane for our first stop of the race. And we are the only one in the pit lane. So it's going to be a very, very lonely little trundle to the box. Very long and annoying pit lane. You're going so slow for so long. As hopefully no issues from the lads. No, everything looks good. Solid stop. So now we can put these hards to use for the next 10 or so laps, 11 laps, until we have to pit again.
You only have to stop once now.
So,
One stop left.
See Stroll, the next closest car, 18 seconds up the road. Bit of clear air now, so yeah, let's hopefully catch back up. As you see, cars in the pit lane. So we've got our teammate just behind us. As now we move on to lap number 9, we see a couple of more cars in the pit lane. Carlos Sainz, one of them. So we get the undercut on him. He goes onto the mediums, as Perez also boxes behind us. So this race is moving pretty quickly. We're already 10 laps in, nearly halfway. So hopefully these tyres, we can just catch up to Albon. Unfortunately though, it looks like as we move on to lap 11, Carlos Sainz has caught up by about 7/10. So he is going to probably be looking to attack within the next couple of laps. As now we run up to Cops, and there he is. He's going to fly past as we fail that objective, unfortunately. Not going wide this time, thankfully. As we move a little bit further down the road, we are going to try and put a move on him here. We're going to get him back, and we do. Solid move. Very solid move from us. As we get back up into P11 as Hamilton sets the quickest lap. So now, as we roll into lap 12, or 13 actually, we're going to see Sainz again. Looks like he's going to have a go. It's going to be pretty much just a back and forth battle now. As Gasly actually enters the frame here. So I didn't even realise, but Pierre's caught up to us. Just another, I guess, it just shows how slow I am. So yeah, not a great weekend. The race has been okay. A little less painful than the sprint, obviously, with the good start. But yeah, it seems as though our pace just isn't really there as we let Sainz and Gasly through. Hopefully we can get them back on the straight. Hopefully me and Gasly can kind of get through and try and pull away from Sainz. I don't know how likely that is. As we get through Maggots and Beckett's, as we see Gasly is going for a move, and he's going to make it through. And we're going to absolutely send it on Sainz once again. Daniel Ricciardo-esque, that was so late. And we are going to get back up into P11 and hopefully this time follow our teammate through and pull away from Sainz. As we move on to lap 14, now coming to the end of it. Once again, this time we're going for our teammate, and it is going to be the move. We're back up into the points. It's P10. So, very solid stuff from us. As now, on to lap 15. It's literally just carbon copies, and it will be until the end of the race, I assume, as the both of them try and get through. We're going to send one on Sainz, try and keep the place, and we do just that. Some pretty solid defending here against Sainz, sending it everywhere. So, as now, literally, was this a replay of the last lap? It probably could be, as we get Gasly as well, once again. So, this is pretty much how the race is going to look towards the end, I assume. As now, we see Sainz actually getting us up in a Cops, but he just loses a bit of momentum, and we're able to sneak back past up the inside into Maggots and Beckett's. And now, towards the end of the lap here, we're going to see yellow flags actually just up here. And that looks like a McLaren. It is, it's Piastri. So I'm not sure what's happened there. As Gasly enters the pits. That, I wonder what that was, because he was just kind of sitting in the grass. We are going to come in at the end of this lap though. As now we have a look, and it's actually Antonelli and Piastri having a battle, and oh my days, looks like Piastri won a pit, and it looks like Antonelli didn't, so they got caught on the wrong side of each other, which is really unfortunate for Oscar. Hasn't had much luck, as he nearly cleans up Gasly. Luckily for Pierre, he avoids him. So yeah, wow, what a moment, and it just adds to this narrative that we're seeing at McLaren. A few more mistakes from Oscar, and as we make contact with Sainz going through Maggots and Beckett's, Unreal side-by-side racing here. And he's going to get the move done, but we're going to come straight back at him with all of our battery as we want to get ahead of him into the pit lane. Don't even know if he's going to box, but I know we are, so try not to lose any time as we send it into the pit lane. As I was saying, adds a little bit more to this narrative we're kind of creating around McLaren and Oscar Piastri. A few mistakes. Obviously qualifying in Spain wasn't great for him. Got crashed out by his teammate. So it's just, everything just is adding to this kind of narrative we've got going on about us potentially replacing him at McLaren next season. Solid pit stop from the lads. You love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. As now, on the fresh mediums, hopefully we can finish off the race well. We've got, 10 laps, 9 laps to go. So, as we see yellows, and who is that? It looks like a Mercedes. It's Antonelli, I think. It is. It's Antonelli. And he's out. He is out. What's happened to Kimi then? Let's have a look. He's come out of the pits. I wonder if this has anything to do with that contact with Piastri. Wow. Unreal scenes. Kimi out of the race. I really wonder if that had anything to do with the contact, as we literally move a little bit further down the road, and this time it's Leclerc out. So we've had 2 DNFs to safety car. Literally 2 DNFs in the space of literally 30 seconds. And it's brought out the safety car. Let's have a look. No smoke, just pulling over. So clearly some issue. Unfortunate for Charles. Literally almost out in SQ1. To then go and take the pole position for the sprint. And then also come back. And I'm pretty sure he was on pole for the main race as well. And it's not even going to amount to anything. I suppose he got points in the sprint, I think. But yeah, disappointing for him. As now we get back racing. We're right behind Albon now. So this is good for us. Albon on the hards. Literally everyone around us on the hards actually. So we have the better tyres with about 6 laps to go here. And we're going to send it on Albon. And we're up into P5. So after all of this, after a terrible sprint, terrible qualifying, somehow we found ourselves up in P5. Continuing this good run of form. As now we move on to lap 23. Just keeping within a second of Hadjar, as we're going to let Albon, just fly by. And hopefully charge up a bit of battery. And get him back on the straight, which is exactly what we're going to do, draining it all. And we're still trying to stay within that second of Hadjar to get that extra energy. So coming to the end of the lap here. As actually we move on to lap 24. It's literally carbon copies. Literally the whole race has been like this. As now we move to this nice external shot. And once again, last time it was Sainz. This time it's Albon. Losing momentum through cops, and we're going to get him back. So, as we go through Maggots and Beckett's, just outside that second mark to Isaac Hadjar. So but we've got no battery. Got absolutely no battery. So Albon's just going to fly back past here. Already, that is just tragic, that. As I really hope that's not the last roll of the dice. Oh, we send it! Absolutely send it. I was kind of scared that we've run out of battery, so now we're just going to run away. And we've just bloody sent it on him. As now we start lap 25. As he's going to come back at us into turn 1. Oh, he's going to park it on the apex, make a little bit of contact. Gasly starting to close that gap behind. As obviously me and Albon have been fighting really hard here. So now can we get him back? Let's have a look. Got more battery this time, opening up the wings. And yeah, look at that, sending it on the Williams. As, there we go, we're back up into P5. This time, as literally carbon copies once again. We let him through just before cops. And hopefully we can let him, hopefully we can recharge some of the battery. And send it again, which we will do. So, it's just pretty much a race to the end, obviously. which is literally the whole race. I know that, but we're just going to be swapping back and forth for the whole time. So hopefully we can get him back on the last lap, even though, like I said earlier, the AI have a little bit more power on the last lap. So hopefully we can save up a bit of battery as we actually start the last lap now, and he's going to send it again into turn 1. And yeah, he's really giving us a good fight here, Albon. It's good to see. It's good to see. Gasly rapidly closing that gap now. He's literally almost a second away. I swear 2 laps ago it was about a 2-second gap. So this battling could be costing us here. We got Sainz just behind him as well. As once again we're going to send it and get back past the Williams. As you see, the teammate, or the 2 teammates there, just behind. And then you got Liam Lawson as well in that little train. Piastri's actually recovered into the top 10. Solid from him. As now we run up to the line. It looks like we're not going to have enough as we go a bit wide. And we're actually going to send one. So it's literally the same move we did 2 laps ago on the final lap. And we're going to come through to steal P5 at the end. Unreal scenes. We've absolutely frauded that. Absolutely frauded that. That was painful, that. But, you know, I'll take it. Very lucky with the safety car. Yeah. How the hell's Alonso got driver of the day? That's ridiculous. Either way, another double points finish. Very solid.
Will look up and see the checkered flag first. George Russell takes the checkered flag.
A great team victory today. That's the important bit here. On home soil, the drivers delivered, the team delivered as well, and to do that in front of their home support really means a lot to them.
The top 3 have scrapped on the racetrack. They will now line up next to each other, the best of this race. And celebrating with the trophy, George Russell on the top step.
So, an all-British podium here at Silverstone. Very solid race. George Russell with the fastest lap as well. Isaac Hadjar, a really good race from him and myself and Albon and Gasly. A lot of people having good races. Yeah, Leclerc from pole. DNFs, unfortunate for him. Verstappen having a terrible race there. Had to make an extra stop for some reason. Piastri, obviously that contact with Antonelli, he will be filthy. But he ends up recovering to P5. Lindblad just missing out on points after a good drive from P19, I think that was. As now we look at the drivers, we see Norris extending his gap by about another 6 points. Russell just behind, so Lando in the box seat at this point, nearly halfway through the season. As we are just ahead of Piastri, just behind Verstappen. And now McLaren holding a very slim 1 point lead over Mercedes in the Constructors. So, yeah, it looks like, you know, hopefully we can catch back up to Red Bull, but, you know, might be difficult. So, yeah, another solid episode. For somehow we've absolutely frauded it. And, yeah, I'll see you for the next one.